Former President Thabo Mbeki's U-turn, ANC's last hope or political strategy. Can the return of former President Thabo Mbeki truly save the ANC in the upcoming elections? Or is it merely a political maneuver? Is he the last hope for a party at a crossroads? Or just a strategic symbol brought back to rally fading support?
That is essentially the former president.
Greetings, my fellow South Africans. Today we are looking into a remarkable development in South African politics. Thabo Mbeki's return to the campaign trail. Once a leader who held the presidency from 1999 to 2008, Mbeki has mostly stayed out of the limelight. But his decision to campaign for the ANC has unleashed a wave of reactions. Let's explore what this means for the ANC and whether his involvement might be the game changer the party needs.
In 1994, we had all of those expectations. We gave the African National Congress the honor as the historic liberation movement of our country. We trusted Nelson Mandela, we trusted all of those iconic names, and we loved them. And that's why we entrusted our power to them, because we thought this is the moment of change. It is now 30 years later, this coming Saturday, the 27th. One reason I'm going home earlier is there is a huge public manifestation. You know what the theme is? 30 years of democracy, 30 years of betrayal.
Wow.
South Africa today is a country that is the most unequal society in the world. We surpass Brazil, we surpass Zimbabwe, we surpass all of those countries today with all our riches. South Africa today is one of the most unsafe places for women and children. South Africa today has a government that is corrupt from top to bottom. From the president in that seat, that man is a criminal and a crook that belongs in prison. A billionaire who gets his money from white capital to do the will of white capital, forgetting the plight of his people. He has no clue. Because he has taken the love and the trust of our people, and they have betrayed for money in offshore accounts. The poverty in South Africa has been deepened. It is not just a poverty that hangs around. It is a generational impoverishment. The gap between rich and poor in South Africa today is wider than it was in the time of apartheid. Under a black government who had every opportunity for 30 years to right the wrongs of 350 years of colonialism and imperialism and apartheid, and they didn't want to do it because there was a deal made between the elites of the African National Congress and the elites of the old white apartheid establishment, that they will keep the economic power in the hands of white people, give you the semblances of political power. So we have the trappings of political power. There is a parliament that has become a joke because they hold nobody accountable. There are commissions of inquiry that means nothing because nobody follows their conclusions. There are courts, half the judges seem to be in the pockets of those with money. a loaf of bread, he goes to jail for 6 months. They find $4 million in cash, dollars in cash, that in the president's house, on his farm, that he has put away, that he has hidden in his furniture, in his couches, in his mattresses. They find the money. The domestic worker who accidentally saw these dollars peeking out, what's this? She gets arrested. The boyfriend that she says, he gets arrested. The president, oh no, there is no case. Selective indignation is the death of any democracy.
Thabo Mbeki did not mince his words when he was asked some questions about pala, about money laundering, about grey listing. This is what he had to say.
Question that our colleague raised about grey listing. He referred to pala. And that is correct, the reference. Because the story was that there's a Sudanese businessman who lives in Dubai, who came to South Africa carrying loads and lots of cash in dollars, came through Oliver Tambo Airport, declared the money, bought buffaloes. The Commissioner of Taxes, Mr. Kiswetter, have said there is no record of such monies being declared at OR Tambo Airport. So that record doesn't exist. It's not been found. But there's no assumption to think that it exists but has not been found. So it hasn't been found. And therefore the suspicion arises naturally. Is this not part of money laundering? It arises naturally.
He's right, though, if we all are honest with ourselves. The story does not add up. And this is a story that was given to the Section 89 independent panel, which was looking into this matter. It's the same story that was given to the public protector, perhaps the Hawks, and anybody else investigating this. But a big part of that story, that the money came in legally into the country, has been disproved. It's a big question that everybody has. The other side of the equation is that Thabo Mbeki is no longer supportive at all of President Ramaphosa. And to have one of the most respected, revered South African and African presidents directly undermine you in this way just shows that you have a serious problem of support. If you think about where President Ramaphosa is now, he has the support of his faction, but he does not have the support of those who are still aligned to Thabo Mbeki. He does not have the support of those who are still aligned to Jacob Zuma. It's very isolated right now. And there is a group of people within the ANC, some say the Gauteng ANC, and its affiliates, who don't support him either. So where is he in terms of outside of that group of support from internally? But this is what Thabo Mbeki also had to say. He went on.
And it's strange, it's odd, that the successful business person who's got that amount of money and can buy buffaloes walks around with that kind of money as cash. It's a strange concept. All of this it draws attention to this issue, to the question. are we not yet dealing with the problem of money laundering? So I'm saying that the colleague, when he said that is money laundering basically a grey listing business, and is this pala thing not related to that? I'm saying that's a legitimate issue to arise.
Ultimately, Thabo Mbeki raises serious questions. And he spoke about more than this. This is not even the whole thing that he spoke about. He spoke about the Public Protector report. He supported the EFF protest and actually implied that, you shouldn't really get in the way of their protest and you should let them have the right to protest because it is a constitutional right. If I was President Ramaphosa in 2023, I would be really worried about the criticisms that are coming left, right, and center. Criticisms. The media, former presidents, opposition parties, CEOs. Everyone is like, something is not working. And even the people who draw the cartoons, Bozapiro, are saying similar things. I would be genuinely concerned about such a loss of support 400 days before an election. I would be.
Thabo Mbeki, South Africa's president from 1999 to 2008, has been a peripheral figure in politics after his term ended. However, his recent critique of the ANC's corruption and decision to campaign has stirred up considerable controversy and confusion, earning him accusation of being a flip-flopper. Look at these clips.
Remember what he said during his address at UNISA last year? In fact, I'm going to quote what he had said. He said, "I say to the ANC comrades that when you say I must go campaigning next year to say to the people vote ANC, how am I going to do that? To say vote ANC when I know very well that the branch of the ANC in this constituency is led by a criminal."
I don't think the ANC understands that reality. It is true that you have got many greedy people, many corrupt people. If I ask the question, why is the ANC, which marginalized people as you were saying, why is it behaving like this? I say to the ANC comrades that when you say I must go campaigning next year, to say to people vote ANC, how am I going to do that? To say vote ANC, when I know very well that the branch of the ANC in this constituency is led by a criminal. You can't. It's not possible to go and say vote ANC for a criminal.
Thembisa ukuthi ke mangisithi votelani ANC. Ngithembisa ukuthi sizayilungisa ANC leyo ngokwayo. Kwenzela ukuthi ikwazi ngempela ukumela abantu yenze lento kufanele yenze. Amandla. Yes, will be see more on the campaign trail, but no, I have not put aside my concerns. The concerns that are expressed by the people, when the people say we're unhappy about this, about the other, about the ANC, those concerns are genuine. And we must attend to them. That's why I'm saying that part of when I say to people, vote ANC, I'm also making a commitment to the people that will attend to these problems within the ANC itself. Because it must really discharge its responsibilities.
Okay, thank you. Another media.
I've never changed my mind.
The statement that you said that campaigning for the ANC was criminal activities.
No, I've never changed my mind. I said to the ANC, the same point I'm making now. As ANC is necessary for the ANC to attend to its own internal problems, which they are. When the ANC said to itself, we must renew ourselves, it comes from conferences. It was correct. The ANC must renew itself. Those are conference decisions because of what's not right within the ANC. So I've never changed my mind about this. That's why I'm saying I want to make a commitment as we campaign and say to the people, vote ANC. We must also say to the people, we'll also attend to this ANC. These complaints that you have must be addressed.
With the ANC facing declining support due to economic instability, corruption and public dissatisfaction, Mbeki's return is seen as an attempt to evoke memories of more prosperous times. Listen to what people think, and the opinions are varied. While some respect his experience and hope it can contribute positively, others dismiss it as a mere political strategy. Take a look.
His campaigning for ANC will reboost the morale of the community. For those who love ANC, will definitely vote for ANC. This is going to be a positive.
The former president, Thabo Mbeki, is not the messiah. ANC is beyond redemption. So they must just sit down and relax. They will be out of power come end of May. I thank you.
They just act out of desperation. They're just using an old man. I don't see any impact because he won't be part of the ANC cabinet come after the election. So he's just talking things that it will never happen. So they're just using that old man for nothing. I don't think it will have an impact. They are just a bunch of losers.
This whole thing is about Zuma and Thabo Mbeki, not about Ramaphosa anymore. It's Zuma versus Thabo Mbeki. That's all.
Good evening. Yes, former President Mbeki's campaign will have a positive impact because he's a man of integrity.
At some point, Gauteng only had about 490 people on the housing backlist. The list is now sitting at 1.23 million. And Gauteng at some point, at its peak, was able to build about 35,000 houses. Right now, cannot even build more than 10,000 units a year, yet the number is growing. So you have now, because of corruption and corrupt activities, also lessened your own ability to be able to then deliver as government. And these are things that we are saying. Instead of addressing the challenges, they've actually then compounded them and actually ignored them. We are now being told of Tintswalos who are living in a comfortable life. The real Tintswalos out there, I met today 2 young people who were born in 1990. One is called Nkululeko, one is called, I forgot his name, but they are twins from Zola, Soweto, holding mechanical engineering degrees. Mm-hmm. Today, if you look in my tweet, you'll see the 2 young men. I'm pleading for them to actually then be absorbed somewhere. This is the reality of so many of the young people out there who are saying we find ourselves in a life of drugs, we find ourselves in a life of poverty after our parents have sacrificed so much. Now that is the Tintswalo that is out there. And this is something that we have to then ask and say, are we willing to allow this to happen for a further 5 years? Or are we going to be asking what is then the plan? And maybe anybody who then claims that we are living in Kukuland must go into Soweto, go into Alexander, where, by the way, in 2019, the president promised 1 million houses to the residents of Alexander. Not a single brick has been laid there.
Look at our record in the last 30 years. Recently. Wow. We have committed 100 billion rand over the next 3 years to create jobs through public and social employment. 100 billion rand. This starts now.
And we can go on. The economy has all but collapsed right now. People are just living on grants instead of finding work. Security, safety and security. And I heard the last bit of your interview where you're talking about how people are now being double taxed. You have to now ensure that you find private security in addition to you paying tax, which should then be providing you with safety and security. I'll give you some stats. Right now, in Gauteng alone, you have 143 police stations. Of those 143 police stations, 40 don't even have holding cells. That's a problem. How many vehicles are we supposed to be having that we don't have? So we cannot even do visible policing. In addition to that, you are sitting with a situation where you're sitting with incompetent policemen and women, not incompetent in terms of what they're supposed to be doing, but the fact that now they're carrying guns that they haven't been to shooting ranges to be able to then remain competent in terms of using those same guns. And the response that we get from that is that we don't have money for bullets, or we haven't been able to then bring in the ammunition into South Africa. Well, we used to have PMP in Pretoria West that used to be the producer, the biggest producer of those. So you're talking about things that have fallen apart. Look at our rail system. Look at where we find our favorability in terms of doing business or attracting investment, and I can go on and on. The education system, the health system, that is all but collapsed. And you tell me if I'm living in a different planet, or those that are coming here and saying everything is hunky-dory in South Africa living in a different planet.
South Africans argue about Mbeki's potential impact. Could his presence re-energize the base and appeal to traditional voters? Or is it too late for such moves? Young voters, in particular, are demanding solutions that addresses their immediate needs like jobs, education, and safety, not just sentimental memories of past leadership. Thabo Mbeki's re-entry into politics is undoubtedly a pivotal moment for the ANC. But the question remains, will his experience and stature be enough to revitalize the party's campaign? Or is this move too little too late? Only time will tell, and we'll be right here to cover all the developments. What are your thoughts on Mbeki's return? Do you think it will make a difference in this election? Drop your comments below. And don't forget to like and share this video. If you are new here, remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on our insightful updates. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Take care.